The Entropy Centre is a mind-bending puzzle adventure where you reverse objects through time to overcome seemingly impossible obstacles and conundrums. The debut title from developer Stubby Games was set to entice players into an interesting world while leaning on the nostalgia created by games from a bygone era. With a gameplay loop that appears to be so inspired by Portal that the tags in the gameplay trailer include Portal 3, it was bound to be a hit with like-minded puzzle fanatics that were looking for that next source of goody-good brain chemicals. But will this game make time fly like a clock thrown out of a window, or will it be more like that belt made of watches and be seen as just a waste of time? Only time will tell. Welcome to Kochiefy, my name is Kochie, and this is the Entropy Centre.
Okay, so solve puzzle, brain hurts, generate energy, then rewind Earth.
Exactly.
Now, before we get into it, if you want to see more reviews like this, go and hit that subscribe button, and I thank you very much for it. I'm reviewing the PC version of this game with a code provided by my own bank account. The Entropy Centre introduces you to its world as easily as possible by having you wake up alone with that golden classic amnesia. You explore the world around you and slowly come to terms with the situation that you're in, and it isn't good. Eventually you'll find a vast array of boxes that definitely aren't companion cubes and start along your merry way to find out just what the hell is going on in the world that you've been dropped into. As you continue through the linear world, you'll start to discover more about where you currently are and who was previously living here with you. The puzzle mechanics are also introduced slowly, and as you go through each room you understand each new mechanic before applying that knowledge to later, more complex puzzles. It's a game that is slow to start but reels you in with its world and characters very quickly. The reason you're doing all of this immaculate puzzle solving is that you're currently on the Entropy Centre station located on the moon, which has the power to reverse time. This is to avoid world-ending events like nuclear warfare or natural disasters. You reach the main control center and observe Earth reach critical mass and crack before your very eyes. To make matters worse, you don't currently have the entropy-based power to stop this from happening. So it's time to solve puzzles, power the device, rewind Earth, and relax a little. While initially this is seen as a rush to the finish style motivator, you quickly realize that the rush that's generated pretty much goes away straight away, and you can take as long as you want to complete the puzzles. There's no limit on how stumped you can be, and you'll be able to rewind everything in the end anyway, so it's time to chill out with a beer and live your life as the sole resident on the moon for a while. To accompany you on this cryptic journey is your entropy device called Astra. Astra is your time-reversing companion who appears to be an AI-style character who keeps Aria company throughout the puzzles, providing interesting information about the world, updates on your current situation, and a couple of funny quips here and there. The dynamic between the two characters works quite well, and with Aria taking on the straight man style persona, the back and forth gags had me chuckling along with them as I explored. The general feel of the game is very Portal-esque with a few new twists that make it feel unique. You wander from room to room, moving around variously shaped boxes onto big switches in the floor or laser squares, and you're constantly learning new things as you go. The unique part here is with the time reversal mechanics that allow you to complete the various puzzles. When you think you've figured out a way that a puzzle should work, you then have to think backwards in order to make the objects move to where they need to be. This completely changes the way that you would normally approach these puzzles, as your sequencing gets completely turned on its head. I would have to go through step by step the things I needed to do in order to make it work, and then reverse everything in my brain so that the positioning I had in mind could be completed. This makes me reminiscent of games like Braid from Jonathan Blow, who used time-based mechanics to solve puzzles, and it really makes the game shine. It also made my brain hurt, but in a good way. Another part of the Entropy Centre that makes it unique are the areas that use time mechanics to fix areas of the world. This is usually where you have big bridges being demolished or supporting beams come crashing down towards you, which ups the tension a little bit more in those areas. You're able to use Astra to reverse those situations while standing in the right place for particular pieces to come back into place for you to progress further. For example, a supporting beam falls to break a set of stairs, and with a keen eye you can see which parts fell where, and then you stand on the space where those stairs fell so that you can move yourself back up to where they used to be. It's a neat trick where using the world around you to solve puzzles helps you break up the monotony of the same but different cube puzzles room after room after room after room. But that's not all the game shows off. There's an attention to detail here that makes me want to find every scrap of information possible. With the power of the Entropy Centre technology, you'll find intel on various PC terminals throughout your playthrough. It really helps flesh out the world, and you'll discover ways that people were able to abuse the systems available to them for their own gain. People were able to pass back lottery-winning numbers to their families on Earth after it was set back a year previously to avoid a calamity. It's details like this and the follow-up email from HR punishing those people which really shows the devs thought about how the people would abuse time travel mechanics in a real-world situation. The game also has some nice world payoffs as well, which just adds to the attention to detail element and gives the absent world a little bit more life. In one area, there's a market with a storeroom in the back of it. When you get inside that storeroom, you'll find a terminal saying that everything is accounted for, but the team is running low on beans. A little later, you'll find a memo about a puzzle solver just asking about the spare room behind 601's puzzle just being a little sus and being told not to worry about it. Everything is fine. But lo and behold, beans! Beans everywhere.
Beans! So many beans.
It's a nice touch that I enjoyed quite a lot, and there are plenty more for you to find yourself along the way. I'll be sure to remove my watch and keep the rest a secret from you, because you know, time will tell. Whether intentional or not, I also noticed throughout my playthrough that each well-lit desk area usually has an active terminal nearby, so keep an eye out if you're looking to get all that intel in just a single playthrough. Speaking of, you should definitely subscribe to Kochiefy and keep an eye out for more reviews like this, and other content like my podcast, Redundant Opinions, that I'm running with Kamikaze78. Yes, I know how bad that segue was, I get it. Anyway, this game doesn't just have one or two puzzle mechanics to learn and then you're off to the races. No. Even by the 12th room of puzzles, you're still being introduced to new puzzle elements, which helps to keep the experience fresh. Just when you think you've mastered the use of all the blocks, switches, and various other transformable objects, the Entropy Centre throws another curveball at you, and curveballs they are. I went into this game adamant that I wouldn't need guides or anything to complete these puzzles, but boy did the later puzzles really challenge that philosophy. I have singular puzzles later on that took my dumb monkey brain 20 or 30 minutes of trying different possible combinations or timings before it finally all clicked into a place. I swear I felt the gear in my brain lock in a couple of times just for that added feeling. To help you keep track, there's a, helpful screen at the end of each room telling you how long you spent in the game figuring out that latest puzzle. This was an infuriatingly nice touch to add, but I'm sure speedrunners will enjoy it. The mix of both industrial areas and more natural areas of the game are littered with foliage and dilapidated furniture, which really makes it feel like you've been out of it for a very long time. Each puzzle area is subtly different, which encourages you to explore further and look for more intel at the various computer terminals that are still active. This helps you build a better sense of what's really happened in the world. With that being said, the areas are quite linear and there's only one or two solutions to each puzzle, so for playing for long stretches of time, this can create a sense of doing the same thing over and over and over again. The game's mechanics are designed in a way to be simple to understand because it's all about how you use the world around you to finish puzzles. There's no sprint or crouch or anything like that, and while the speedrunners will disagree after they start hunting maps, there's no way to cheese mechanics of puzzles. There's one solution, and you better get those gears turning to figure it out. Or you look up a guide, but where's the fun in that? The reward you get from figuring out a puzzle yourself was pretty amazing. Those previously mentioned rooms that took an infuriating amount of time to complete, well, those ones became my favorite puzzles in the end because I actually used my tiny brain to figure them out. All by my little self. With around 9 hours under my belt of straight puzzle solving, I was engaged the whole way through. Then it all started to slow down and become a little bit more time consuming. As you slowly but surely put your time into the Entropy Centre, these puzzles get more difficult, and you really have to sit there and think about things for a while. This does make the whole, oh my god, Earth is cracking in two, please help immediately fix this, please, notion from the start of the game a little bit disingenuous. Also, because of this, the game does start to drag a little bit near the end of the game. You know the payoff is waiting just beyond arm's reach, but, at least in my case anyway, I felt dumb flailing around in an area when I knew that the world around me felt like it was ending. It's like sitting in a long line of traffic that was caused by an accident at the end of a long workday. Everyone is eventually thinking, okay, look, I've waited long enough, there better be a good wreck up here to me to look at. What, just me? Alright then. But that's just a feeling the game creates because the emotional payoff or story beats feel further and further away the more you get closer to it. Because of this, the narrative pacing can feel a little sluggish at times. Once you enter the room, you only get the introductory lines, and then there's only silence to keep you company. Some people will enjoy this, and other people will look for something else to do while they work on the next puzzle. But there is this feeling where the story starts to drag as you're drip-fed lines of dialogue for completing the next in a long set of puzzles. With all that being said, you can really tell the developers in this small team have put a lot of love into this game. It could have easily been a generic puzzle game, but many rooms have lore tidbits and some really cute attention to detail elements, which makes the whole experience enjoyable to play. For the icing on the cake as well, when you get through all the puzzles and you think the game is about to end, everything gets turned on its head. Things start to get a little bit weird, and this did keep me engaged to learn more regardless of my previous points. The game ran perfectly throughout my playthrough, with only one noticeable thing popping up that didn't affect my gameplay or break any levels. While there aren't that many options to customize in the menus, everything ran mostly at peak FPS where required. The only points where I experienced slight hitching was in the rooms between puzzle areas where the next part of the level was loading. It took me a little while to notice, but these loading areas allowed me to have minimal full screen loading times during my approximately 12 hours of gameplay. This helped immensely for stopping any interruption to my playthrough, which was a delight to see. Being reminded that this is Stubby Games' debut title as well, I'm excited to see how they either expand on this series or dive into new weird and wonderful adventures. The less you know about the puzzles and the story the better, and I can certainly recommend that you take the time out of your day to pick this one up. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the puns as much as I did making them. Please remember to subscribe for more videos like this, like the video if you liked it, let me know what you thought about the game down below, and I will see you again soon. Until next time, Kochie, out. I just did the last recording, and I wasn't in focus. Everything else behind me was in focus, because I'm an idiot. Try that again.